Aha. Greetings. Welcome back to Blackbird News, where everything is connected. How y'all feeling? We're live on Callin, Rockfin, and on YouTube. On the screen is a really good place to support the channel. You can also support me on PayPal, Cash App, this is Cash App, Patreon, Venmo. Are there any others? I don't know. I think that's about it. Maybe I'll do Buy Me a Coffee soon. Who knows? Hi, all people. All right. Got people on Rockfin. How you doing, Rockfin people? Hello. Hello. How are you? Let's get into it. Shall we? Oh, there's lots of videos there's lots of hurricane footage. I'm sure you have all seen the hurricane footage. We'll look at more hurricane footage. What do you say? Fort Myers, Florida, looking pretty underwater. Pretty very underwater. Maybe I should have some smooth jazz playing behind my videos. What do you guys think? I'm being funny because I hate smooth jazz. I don't want no smooth jazz near my videos. This is pretty crazy. There's sound on this. This is like somebody's front yard or backyard. Which most of the year... Oh. Yeah. Excuse me. I'll stop playing the sound now. Andre says that sucking sound is the globalists sucking everyone dry. I hear that sound too. Poppy says storm chaser Reed Timmer had to run. He was chasing, and then he was running away. Then the storm chased him. Chase them crazy bald head out of town. Okay. Yeah, it's, some pretty big storm hitting Florida. Over 155 mile per hour winds. It's debates on whether it's category 4 or 5. It's big, It's big. Water could be worse than the winds. Whole coast virtually at sea level, et cetera, et cetera. I think we did see this a couple of years ago. There was another storm that hit Tampa area, but the water being sucked out to sea, exposing the floor of Tampa Bay. Not unlike a tsunami. situation. Eerie, isn't it? If I lived in Tampa Bay, I'd be like, yikes. Something bad is coming. Some people, I actually kind of identify with these folks. The storm chasers, basically, the people that go out to the water and go, I wonder if we, stand in the water during the storm, what will happen? And you can call them stupid AF or whatever. Some people get off on this kind of stuff, and I admit I've gotten off on this kind of stuff in the past. It's kind of fun. There's also footage of people like swimming in the, just walking out into the waves, but they quickly get blown like into the pier, which is just dumb. That is dumb. That is really dumb. And not a good look necessarily. So know your limits and know, when it starts to get a little crazy, you should probably take off. Yeah, didn't mean to do that. Meow. Recon indicating the storm is a Category 5. 158 mile per hour winds. I like this tweet. This made me laugh right out loud. A lot of Florida Republicans are going to need some socialism this weekend. Exactly. You always hate the government until you expect them to come rescue your butt. Or when they start taking away things that you expect to happen, like Social Security or Medicare. Or firefighters or police. Right? Socialism and communism are bad. Specifically, socialism is bad, but, if somebody tries to take away your free, the very little tiny free healthcare you get at the end of your life, you'd be pissed. So therefore, you like socialism, don't you? Yeah, well, that storm surge is going to come back in. If it goes out, it's coming back in. It's going to come back in, 3, 4, 5-fold. Frontiers, that's good. That's good. Turn the frontier into frontiers. All right. There is also heat. It's very warm today. It's extremely warm in Los Angeles today. It's going to be, I don't know, very close to 100 degrees. It is actually right now getting pretty close to 100 degrees, and it's noon. Very, very warm. And it's supposed to go on for another maybe day or two. Hopefully just another day or two. So it's very warm. It's very warm in Canada. Canada experiencing also some heat waves. You can see here on the, look at that. All of Western Canada under very extreme temperature anomalies. That's a lot of energy. It's a lot of levers on Dr. Evil's island. Hurricanes, heat waves, droughts. I hear in Nevada, Las Vegas, they've got tornado and thunder and lightning and like crazy lightning strike. Lightning, thunder. Dr. Evil is busy. 80 degrees in northwest Montana. My God. on September 28th. My God, that's just not, that's not normal. That's not normal. Not on September 28th. That is an extreme anomaly. Anyways, 30C plus all over Western Canada today. Again, that's extremely warm for the times, which would be fall, not summer. Also, China and Mongolia. Brutal temperature anomalies in most of China and Mongolia, which is living an incredibly hot September. 37C again in northwest China, while Mongolian highlands reach 30C. Record heat will persist and spread into October. That is not good to hear. Right? From Phantomas. Retweeting this, Kenya's worst drought in 4 decades has killed almost 2% of the world's rarest zebra in 3 months, and 25 times more elephants than normal over the same period, driving them into a deadly conflict as they roam wider in search for sustenance. And this is this is happening all over the world. This is happening everywhere. There's not a lot of wild mammals left on the planet. We are the dominant species, and the animals that feed us are the dominant species. There's not a lot of wild animals left, and a lot of them are hungry. And they're going down very quickly because they don't have the ability to lock up the food or the energy or AC or whatever it might be. Oh, boo. Reuters, boo. That's okay. I'm just reading it for the headline, basically. I'm reading it for the headline. It's not good. It's not a good look, Kenya. But Phantom is saying, that's if drought can do that in 3 months, what happens in another 3 months or, 6 months, year, 2 years? Wendy DeLee says Somalia, a country that borders Kenya, has also had bad drought this year. Yeah, it is really very warm right now. I'm quite toasty. I must say. Anyways, we were talking about the Nord Stream pipeline getting blown up yesterday, sabotaged. Peter Dines, the future of the next generation is literally spewing into the Baltic Sea. Carbon being released will take direct air capture machines around 1,000 years to mop up, no problem then. From another story that I didn't grab, Andre says, I had to spray ammonia around my house. What for? Oh, for the bears. Or for some, yeah, okay. Wow. Because they're hungry, right? The bears are hungry. They're on the hunt. Yeah, the bears are on the hunt around here. Everywhere, pretty much. I didn't know that was a good thing to do, spray ammonia. That's good to know. Coyotes also very active in my neighborhood. We have a lot of coyotes. A lot of coyotes. I think there were some out last night because my dog was barking at like 1:30 in the morning, and I got up and was looking around trying to find out what she was barking at. I couldn't see it, so I assumed it was probably coyotes. Anyways. But, well, anyways, I was saying, on the same day that this sabotage happened, there was a new pipeline, a Baltic pipeline opened up through Poland. Wow. What timing. What absolutely awesome timing. Right? So one pipeline goes down, another goes up. And maybe we can just bomb them all the time. Maybe they'll just leak every single year, and that'll be great. And, and then people can tell you about the myth of hydrocarbons or tell you how, it's clean, reliable energy and how all of this is just somebody's just making it up for money, because last time I heard oil runs the world. Absolutely everything we do has fossil fuels involved in it. But somehow climate change is, for the money. Okay there. Anyways. We're covering some other news now. Just warning you. Germany will now have to pay transit fees to Ukraine and Poland for gas. So, this is it. Sorry. This is the new pipeline. I thought I didn't have it. I did have it. A brand new Baltic pipeline inaugurated. What a coincidence. Literally the day after the Nord Stream 1 goes down, the Baltic pipeline opens up and nobody blinks an eye. Everybody's like, that's fine. That makes sense. Who is this caller? I don't recognize this caller. We'll try this caller. How you doing, caller? What's going on? I have a quick trigger finger, by the way.
Yes, Mr.
Oh, try and call back. Jacques, please call back. Sorry. Something went on there. Okay. Jacques, yeah.
Yeah, can I be heard?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, big fan. Yeah.
Thank you.
Calling. Yeah, say something nice about Israel before I report you to the ADL, Goy.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's all good. All good.
Yeah. No, I like to have a little fun before
yeah. No worries.
I think people are just very anxious these days, and a little bit of lighthearted humor, I think, goes a long way.
I try to keep the people laughing, chuckling at least.
You know what? I think this is why the right is winning, in my opinion, or will ultimately. It is because the left is humorless and they take themselves too seriously. And we can do both. I think we're more malleable. We're better and more rounded. And what's the topic on?
What's the topic? Well, right now I'm talking about the Nord Stream 2 pipeline going down.
Oh, yeah, I have an update on that for you. Okay. So apparently there's like 3 trillion cubic meters of gas in southeastern Ukraine. Isn't that all convenient?
Yes, right.
Do you know how much natural resources that is? It's worth countries pouring billions upon billions of dollars to extract resources.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, Ukraine is resource rich, right? And also
well, actually not really, not until recently. And Russia found themselves, I think, in a defensive offensive posture, and they had no choice but to invade. And I think America knew that, and it was inevitable.
Yeah, but I mean, like Ukraine is known as a breadbasket. And
are we talking about like wheat exports?
Well, wheat, and then also a lot of fertilizer comes from Ukraine. and there are some other like mineral deposits there. I didn't know. I don't know about the natural gas. But anyways, yeah.
Well, that hasn't been extracted yet.
Yeah, but
That's all still like semi speculation.
sure. But there's been a lot of already sell off of Ukraine farmland and other resource. A lot of the resources have already been spoken for by the U.S. or other Western countries. So.
You know what's interesting to me on the economic front, because I think all of this is somewhat tied in together, is gold is going up with the stock market, and of course we know Bitcoin is paired with the market as well, but the U.S. dollar is so powerful right now. We're about to reach GBP, British parity with the pound.
Yeah, yeah.
Get cucked, Eurofags. There is no future for them. They're going to pay a huge price for not standing up to American shoddy imperialism.
Yeah, I just saw this like great political cartoon, which was like the EU standing on like the edge of a cliff, like an overhang. Saying sanctions, and the overhang is about to break off and fall into the abyss. And the U.S. is standing way back on, solid ground going, yeah, sanctions on Russia, whatever. They're just kind of letting the EU, I don't know, walk the plank, basically. Like, yeah, thanks for doing our bidding. Too bad.
The United States is, just doing bully tactics at this point in order to, keep them on the teat and,
well, yeah. I have a question for you. What do you think about what do you think ultimately about Brexit? Do you think it was a good move or a bad move?
I don't know. I think a European market makes them more competitive on the world stage, but it's just the leadership's a little bit socialist. The problem of the West in general is that even if good ideas are presented, I think ultimately they're going to get screwed by incompetence and just feminine actors of both the male and female variety.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can see why Brexit happened, right? I understand the reasons for it. I just wonder what it's like every position these days has so many pros and cons to it that it's hard to know what's a good move or what's a bad move or what is really everything there is to know about anything that goes on. But I mean, I don't know what's going on with the EU right now. I mean, they're going down as quickly as the rest of the EU, so maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know, but. Right now the dollar is strong, I guess. So, and crypto is also doing okay comparatively to the stock market. So, might have been better if you were in crypto than the stock market. I don't know. Unless you're doing put options. So.
No, I wouldn't suggest anyone do put options unless they're a hedge fund manager. Playing with other people's money.
Right. Well, if you have that kind of luxury, sure. I mean, I watch day traders throughout the day sometimes. So there are people out there doing really well because
I know, but so they say, right? So they say.
If you're lucky, if you're making the good bet.
Are they showing? Are they showing all of their L's after their supposed W's?
Right.
I mean, look. If someone's winning, then someone else has to be losing. Just remember that.
Oh, sure. Of course.
Yeah, I would say that to all the would-be investors. Get a job. Okay.
Okay.
Be a wage cuck. It's dignified.
Right. Okay. Well, hey, man, thanks for calling in. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call.
No worries.
Have a good day.
Peace. All right. Let's keep going. What were we talking about? Yeah, well, now there's a brand new pipeline, and I guess if you want to take the both sides of everything, Nord Stream 2 going down obviously has its implications, and people are like, oh my God, everybody's going to freeze, but there's a new pipeline coming online. So is everybody going to freeze? Or is there, it looks like there's another source of energy. So maybe this is all a bunch of, gamesmanship, chess playing. I don't know. There's another pipeline. So apparently there's a way for people to get energy. Maybe they'll be charged. Maybe they'll be charged double. Who knows? Also, we're going to keep on this subject for a second. The Nord Stream. Russia obviously is upset. They are requesting the UN Security Council meeting over the Nord Stream pipeline damage. I don't know what that's going to do for them, or if anything is going to come of this. But they're obviously upset. Some people thought this was quite a provocation. How upset can will the Russians be over this? Is this something that can provoke a bigger military answer from the Russians? I don't know. It seems like nobody, there's strong talk and there's a lot of words, but nobody's really like dialing up, the level of violence. Not to say that the violence is a good thing or it's fine or everything's okay. Let's keep going. I think ultimately they just want the war to keep going, right? Isn't that what the globalists want? Isn't that what the money people want? Isn't that what is in the interest of the people in charge? They can all say the words and they can all do, act the part. They can all play the roles. Oh my God, look what you have done. Oh my God, this is a provocation. I can't take this. But ultimately, for the people who are making money on this entire thing, right? They're like, okay, I'm good with it continuing. I don't need it to end. The worst possible thing for them is for this to end, for there to be a peace agreement, because then everybody's got to go home and deal with the mess. Greg, how's it going? Greg?
How are you? I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good.
Neither Nord Stream 1 or 2 was in use, don't you?
Excuse me?
Did you know that neither Nord Stream 1 or 2 was in use?
They were not. Well, I know that didn't Russia shut them down for repairs or something?
Nord Stream 1 never got finished. Germany, one of them never got finished when Germany canceled after the invasion of Ukraine, when Russia invaded Ukraine.
Is that right, though? Yeah. Wasn't one of them online?
No, neither one was online.
Okay, so what's the issue with either one of them being?
Well, there isn't one really. It's now if it's really wrecked, they won't be able to be used in the future. But that was not in the cards for the foreseeable future, anyways, because
of the Russian invasion.
Yeah,
right. So they were so interesting. Well, what about this? So if there's, what was the pipeline that Russia shut down like a few months ago?
I think I get the number 1, number 2 mixed up. And okay, I don't know that much about it. I know that the one that was almost kind of ready to go back in February, that was the one which Germany pulled out, because it was a co-project. They were both doing it.
Right.
And Germany pulled out, so I don't think it got completely finished.
Okay.
And I don't know about the other one, but I know that neither one was in use.
Okay, well maybe it's a different one that let's see. Hold on. I'm just looking at this. About a month ago, Russia shuts major gas pipeline to Europe. This was, and it says Nord Stream 1.
So maybe that was the one that was working.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and Nord Stream 2, they were like, oh, and I think that's the one that Biden said, well, we'll nix this. If Russia invades, we're going to nix Nord Stream 2 or whatever.
Well, it was nixed. Yeah, that was the one that was under construction. Nord
Right.
Stream 2 was under construction.
Okay.
And Nord Stream 1 wasn't pumping anything because Russia had cut them off anyways.
Right.
So, by the way, could you define globalist?
I think basically global, global, someone who's interested in global capitalism and that being the defining mechanism for the structure of the planet and how it works, right?
Do you have any examples of a globalist?
I think right now, really, a strong example are, people talk about the, globalist would be Bill Gates, if you want a short answer. Bill Gates is an incredibly wealthy person who ends up, by the mechanism of his wealth, defining public policy, not just in the United States, but in several countries. Globally, he's all over the world. He defines public policy, and he can define it by the weight of his wealth.
Do you think Bill Gates is happy that Nord Stream 1 and 2 are leaking?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he is happy. Maybe that's, I don't know. I wouldn't know if he has a position on Nord Stream 1 or 2. I wouldn't know how he feels about that.
I just heard you say the globalists are happy about this, so I was just wondering who you.
No, what I meant was globalists are happy about the war continuing. Like, I think, I wasn't speaking of the Nord Stream 1 and 2. I was just saying
that's true. That's true.
I think the war continuing allows, the people who are shaping, whatever they think the future, whatever direction the future is going into, like, I think it allows them more latitude. Whereas, we have to be in global conflict all the time. Like, when have we not been at war or in a proxy war in the last 50 years? Almost never. The space between Vietnam and the first Iraq war was like the only time I remember when we were, and in that time we had the Contras, Nicaragua, Grenada. We had that kind of stuff going on, but like we're always at war, and that's beneficial to the people that profit from war.
I don't really agree with you. I don't think, if you look at the utter devastation this has done to Europe, to all the surrounding countries, on both either the ones that are close to Russia, the plummeting pound, the economic devastation, the lack of trade. Like if you want to talk about people and capitalists, it's really messing with trade, with people making money. If you want to be, cynical about it, it's also really hurting so many economies, definitely all across the continent and beyond. And I don't subscribe to this kind of cynical and vague globalist thing. I think nobody wanted this except Russia, and that's why it started.
I think that might be a point at which we disagree, because I think Russia was provoked into this, and maybe and there's even people with an even more cynical concept than me, which is that they're just all acting like this is all theater, right? Oh, we're going to provoke Russia into a war. Oh my God, here it comes. I mean, remember, before Russia invaded, there was like 2 months of U.S. mainstream media going, here they come, they're about to come, here they come, we think they're going to invade, and then they invaded, and they're like, oh my God, how could they possibly do this? Like, they acted all surprised and shocked and clutched the pearls and all that when they were there's been 8 years of bombing of Donetsk, right, by Ukrainian forces, and
do you know what Donetsk is?
It's the region that Russia is. They just voted, right, to become part of Russia, right? Didn't they just have a referendum and multiple regions that are occupied by Russia on whether to stay as part of, become part of Russia? I mean, they've voted overwhelmingly yes, just like Crimea.
Do you support the Russian invasion of Ukraine?
I don't necessarily support it. I just don't see the thing
Do you
is
unnecessarily support it?
I mean, I don't support war. I don't think war is a good answer to anything. I just think that, what are you supposed to do? It's kind of like this. Let's say you have you know somebody. Maybe they're a friend. Maybe they're not a good friend. But maybe you have a neighbor, and the neighbor continues to do, really crappy thing. Maybe they have a really loud dog, or they're just doing like crazy stuff to you all the time. And then after, you keep talking to them. Hey, maybe don't do that. Hey, could you please, not do this? Hey, okay, if you do that, I'm going to have to do this, right? They keep kind of pushing your buttons until you finally, when you react, and then they go, oh my God, the aggression. That's kind of what the U.S. did to Russia. It's exactly what that's exactly what the U.S. did to Russia. That's exactly what they did.
Like blaming the victim to me. That sounds like
no, it's not. The victim is the victim is. Who's the victim, though? That's you're describing Ukraine as the victim.
Has a dog that bothers you, and so you go and shoot him. Your neighbor has a dog that bothers you, so you go shoot the neighbor.
No. Well,
that's your analogy. And
wait. I didn't say, but the hold on. You're talking. You're kind of You're relating like shooting somebody with a dog barking, and that's not what I'm talking about. A
lot of people are getting shot and killed and bombed and raped by the Russian military. Right now.
Well, yeah, but the thing is I'm equating bombing with bombing, or shooting with shooting, and that's that's what has been happening in Donetsk has been Ukrainian forces bombing Russian people, or the people of Donetsk, right? The people who've been like rebelling and opposing.
Donetsk is Ukraine.
I know.
Donetsk is Ukraine.
Not anymore. It's not anymore. It's now Russia.
Do you know that those referendums are totally fictitious?
They're not fictitious. No, they are not.
They are by definition a war crime, and by definition illegal by any standard of international law. So why do you support something that's illegal by any standard of international law?
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know if I have time to argue this necessarily in this particular call.
It's simple. It's a violation of international law. Why do you support that?
I actually support people doing what they want to do, or being, if people want to be part of Russia, that's fine.
You're supporting or
if people don't want to be bombed, I actually support them not wanting to be bombed.
A country invading another country, occupying a city, announcing during wartime that there's a vote, quote unquote.
It's definitely a political. It's a political and military maneuver, sure.
Right? There's a history of these things. Russia just does them.
There's a history of the U.S. There's a history of the U.S. No. Well, hold on.
Ukraine.
But whataboutism is actually what about?
You blatantly support a war crime. You blatantly support something that's illegal by any international law.
Okay, and you are also blatantly supporting things that. Wait, there's a whole lot of things that led up to Russia invading, which could constitute being war crimes, breaking of treaties, going against their word, the word that NATO would not expand beyond this point. So the U.S. also has a history of breaking promises, breaking laws, So it's not whataboutism. It's like you're trying to say that this guy is wrong for doing this thing that we're doing also. So
now you're blaming the invasion of Ukraine on America. Is that right?
Yeah, actually I am. Absolutely. Right. And it's cool. If you don't want to disagree on that, that's fine. But
one of those. No, I just want to make sure you were one of those.
I am one of those. Yeah, totally. I am. You're right. You got me. You got me. Guilty as charged. Thank you for the call, Greg. I appreciate it. I gotta let you go.
Slava Ukraini.
Okay.
Learn what that means.
Nazi? Is that what it means? Means Nazi. It's lovely when people support Nazis. It's awesome. All right. What's up, Adam? How you doing?
Hey, Kevin.
Interesting calls today. This is fun. It's fun. It's cool.
I just wanted to make a couple clarifications. So Nord Stream 2 was finished. It just wasn't. It
wasn't
delayed
operational.
the certification because of the special military operation.
Yeah.
And Nord Stream 2, I believe, was for a time running during the operation, but because of the sanctions with some turbine that was stuck in Canada and some other sanctions related maintenance disruptions, that they scaled it down, and then I think they eventually reduced the flow to almost nothing within the last few weeks.
Right.
That the last caller, the same thing that just happened in the Donbass, we set a precedent for that by what happened in Kosovo. There was a similar referendum that changed the government, which not all of the world powers recognized, but because Western powers recognized it, it just it became accepted in the international community.
Sure.
So we've really given a pretty good. We've set a precedent that Western countries have set a precedent that pretty much allows legal justification for the moves that Russia has made.
Sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand. This is all gamesmanship, right? By Russia and by the U.S. and Russia are both playing games, war games or whatever. And that's how it goes. However, in Donbass and those other regions, there's been a lot. There's a lot of sentiment on the side of the people feel like they have been abused by the Ukrainian forces. So,
for sure.
So there's a lot of people that are more sympathetic to Russia, and then historically, you have people who feel aligned with Russia. And I get it. I can see where people go, well, this is just underhanded by Russia, or maybe this is not. There's going to be a side that says this is wrong, this is illegal, right? I saw some Trudeau said this is not acceptable. We're not going to accept this vote or whatever. But I mean, I'm actually there were observers there, weren't there?
Yeah.
International observers, and they said they ran the vote. The people are voting. Nobody's holding anybody at gunpoint. These people took a vote. That's what they wanted.
And I think
I don't know what to say. Like the will of the people. That's called democracy. That's called the will of the people. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. War is horrible. What's happening, to both sides, and this conflict is terrible. But it was also horrible that 8 to 14,000 people that were slaughtered in the Donbass, since the coup in 2014.
Right.
There's been
that has happened. That's the thing that happened.
There's a real justification for some type of intervention. I wouldn't say that I support the special military operation, but I would say that I definitely understand, that people who are, that ethnic Russians that live in that area were being abused, and the Minsk agreements were not ratified and were never enforced on the side of Ukraine. So, I mean, there was up to a point where, so I guess what I'm trying to say is I can understand why the special military operation is going on, but, war is terrible, and it should always be, the very last course of action.
Which is what I was trying to, and thank you. And I agree with you. Which is basically what I was trying to get to with the last caller, is that I don't think that war is a great answer for anything. I don't think violence isn't, is the first thing you should jump to at all. And I prefer to never see war and never see violence. It's but it is, still part of reality that if somebody's aggressing on you, it's at some point, there is a point where people will say, okay, I've had enough. Thank you. At what point do you just say, please stop hitting me, please, or please stop, transgressing on my rights or what it is that I think is fair. At some point you have to respond, and then at that point, it's the gaslighters and the narcissists that, oh my God, the aggression. Oh, look how angry you are. Well, hold on. you did all these things that led up to this. And now you want to turn around and point out I'm a bad person for actually responding eventually. But anyways,
sorry, I won't take up much more of your time here. I just wanted to say that if people had the same principled views, always, and not selectively applied to certain conflicts, and it would be easier to respect those positions. But so often people are only calling out certain sides
right
in a conflict that align with certain narratives or ideologies, and not based on principle. Then it kind of seems to be a cherry-picked point of view. But
and here's something to remember. Also, Russia has very clear demands, and there was actually several peace agreements, or almost peace agreements. Ukraine, both sides were coming to the table at one point, and like Boris Johnson scuttled, one of the agreements, and there's been efforts to undermine, some kind of resolution to this, and so. And those efforts have come from the West, not from the East. Yeah. And
that leaked 2019 Rand, think tank report that pretty much was, the precursor to what we're seeing today.
Yeah.
But thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really, really appreciate you. Really appreciate your show.
All right. Thanks, man.
Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Take it easy. All right, let's take a call from Fantomas. How you doing, Fantomas?
Well, I just want to say to Greg, if you want to check out some information, you can go to Eva K. Bartlett's Twitter, and she's actually in that region, and she's been reporting, and she just doesn't report. She actually films and videos of what's happening over there. She's under a kill list for just speaking out and showing people what's happening. So that would be my one point of saying that. And my other point before I go, when anyone ever says the word Nord pipeline, I immediately think of the Nord synth. That's where my mind goes, not the Nord pipeline.
You're a music geek, man. Come on.
Yeah, I mean
get out of the garage, bro.
I don't think about pipelines, man. But I'll let you continue on with the show.
All right, man. Thanks, Thomas.
All right, later.
All right. Interesting calls today. That's good. Had a lot of calls, and kind of came at a really good time. I'm getting a little better at kind of balancing how many things I'm trying to cover, even though I'm at this point I'm gonna miss covering a couple of stories today because I've got to go. Just a few other things. Well, one more thing I guess Bank of England, just because someone else brought it up, caller before brought it up. Bank of England announces major intervention in the gilt market. It will temporarily purchase long-dated UK government bonds starting today to restore orderly market conditions. So that's if you're talking about the state of the economy or the world economy. Some people are, very concerned about that. I don't know. All right, guys. I think I'll cover the rest tomorrow. I'll just carry over some of these stories to tomorrow. But thank you all so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Thanks for hanging out with me every day. We're here at 12 p.m. Pacific Daylight on YouTube, call-in, and on Rockfin. Thank you to all the call-in callers. I will see you all tomorrow. Until next time, peace.